Hey, what's up my friends? Today we're going to be talking about the Canon EOS-R. I'm going to go through everything I like and dislike about it. I've had it for about a year now, so I've learnt a lot. Let's do it! So, welcome back guys. Today, the Canon EOS-R, it's been my baby, it's been my workhorse, it's been my travel camera for the last year. I've taken it to Japan, Taiwan, Australia. I traveled across America and a few other countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and this camera has held up strong over the last year. It's been my go-to camera and I like everything about it. It still has a few drawbacks, but today we're going to go through everything we like, everything we don't like, so stay tuned and find out. Okay guys, so to start off with, the Canon EOS-R, it takes amazing photos, right? It's got a 30 megapixel camera, it's got the same sensor as the 5D4, it can take professional photos, and it's smaller than the 5D4, so in my opinion that's a win. The only thing that is really lacking is autofocus on higher frames per second, so if you're doing sports photography or anything like that, this is definitely not the camera for that. But if you're a portrait photographer, or if you want to buy this camera for like product photography, amazing. It does a really good job. I've used it professionally in my jobs, so I have nothing bad to say about it. So how about videos? This does pretty good videos. It's got everything you need to make really good videos. The 1080p actually has really good quality, so a lot of the times I don't even go up to 4K because at 1080p you're actually utilizing the full sensor, where in 4K you're only getting a 1.7 crop. And that's one thing Canon needs to fix on their next body, is just give us 4K full frame and so many people will be happy. One of the big things I complained about when this first came out was not having 1080p 120 frames per second, and I still wish it did have that. I kind of got used to using 720p at 120 frames per second. It works pretty well. You can upscale it to 1080p, so for that reason it works okay. I wish it did 1080p and that would be amazing. I don't mind it doesn't autofocus in 120p. I don't really need it to. The best thing about this camera is the ergonomics, guys. Like, this camera, when it's in my hands, I have a good grip of it, right? Like, you know, you probably seen me do this before. When I'm walking around, I'm kind of just like holding it. I'm not afraid to drop it. It's in my hands. It feels really good. It's solid, right? And for me, this camera is built well. I don't think I'm gonna drop it. I know it's gonna be, it fits right in my hands, and everything about the way it feels in my hands, it's built solid. The biggest disappointment on this camera is this little touch bar right here. This touch bar right there, this is the most useful thing on here. I wish it just had if it had a joystick right there instead of this touch bar, like a little joystick where my thumb is, it would be amazing, so I can move the AF points. But instead they put this touch bar. Absolutely useless. Get rid of it. Canon, you don't need it. I've got a hack for you guys. One of the brilliant things that Canon implemented on this camera is USB charging, and for that reason I carry around my MacBook Pro charger. So if you ever need power, plug in your MacBook Pro charger into your Canon EOS-R and it will charge your batteries. On the ergonomic side, there's one thing that I wish Canon would change on the next body, is the dial on the back here above the mode dial. I wish it was a little bit further back, because when I'm resting my fingers, I need to kind of hyperextend my fingers out a little bit to actually reach that dial. So I wish it came out a tad so I don't have to like reach in. Okay, I gotta talk about dual card slot, guys. This is the one thing that most people complain about. It's probably the biggest thing that deters a lot of professionals from getting it. In my opinion, I don't need dual card slots. You might need dual card slots. Everyone that I know that shoots with a 5D Mark IV only has one card in their card slot, so I don't understand the big deal about it. If you shoot dual cards, this isn't the body for you. Over the last year, Canon has made some serious improvements to this body. The AF with the firmware update 1.4 has put eye detect on it. It's taken eye detect to a whole new level, so I praise Canon for that. Thank you, Canon. And they've just made this body that much better. I feel like with the next generation of bodies that come out, they're gonna nail it. So Canon, don't go cheap on the features. People want a big, strong body with a lot of features. So if you're listening, Canon, jam it, dude. Jam it. Charge an arm and a leg. People are gonna buy it. Here's the thing with this camera, right? I know so many people complain about it. It doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. But everybody that I know that shoots with this camera loves it. Everybody that I know that owns the camera, and people that I know that owns bigger cameras like 1DX Mark IIs, keep coming back to this camera just because of the image quality is amazing. I think the image quality in this beats the 1DX Mark II. The 1DX Mark II obviously beats this in sports and action, but for like portraits and for like product photography, absolutely this is a winner. Another thing that I gotta praise Canon on is the fact that they've updated the mobile app and the iPad app. So probably a couple months ago when I was doing a studio shoot, I had this hooked up to an iPad. I had one of the agents flicking through the images while I was taking it, and it just worked really easy. I could take a photo and they could see it on the iPad and be like, we need to adjust this, we need to change this. So having that Wi-Fi Bluetooth functionality, they've greatly improved it, and I think it's probably one of the best apps on any camera system out right now. Thank you, Canon. You've been listening to us, you've been putting out some amazing lenses. I wish I can afford some of the newer lenses. They're really expensive, but they look amazing, like the 15 to 35 f2.8 IS, the 70 to 200 2.8 IS, which is like the size of this, like seriously. Canon, you've done some really cool things with the lenses. One of my biggest frustrations when shooting photos with this camera is when I'm actually shooting with this camera, you can see that like sometimes my nose or my cheeks, I got really chubby cheeks, touches the touchscreen on the back. So when I'm trying to take photos, the touchscreen accidentally moves the autofocus, and what I'm trying to take photos of is completely out of focus. So what I've kind of learned to do is flip this around and shoot with the screen not facing me, and I shoot like that, and then I kind of move the focus with my mode dials, which is the main reason why I believe it needs a joystick here. It'll just be a lot simpler. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe extend this out more so my body, my chubby cheeks don't touch this touchscreen. I don't know if it's just me or anyone else has this problem. So what else? So moving into the next body, what I hope Canon does, right? I hope they put in IBIS. IBIS isn't a deal breaker for me, but it's something that is really nice to have. I hope they improve some of the video functionality. Full frame 4K I think is a must in 2020. 1080p 120, absolute must. If they don't do that, I don't think I'm gonna upgrade. Also, Canon, you gotta get rid of this touch bar. Get rid of it. Put a joystick in here to move the AF points. Okay guys, conclusion. So, should you get a Canon EOS-R in 2019? The answer is, yes, if you are planning on jumping into the RF lens mount. No, if you're only planning on using EF lenses for now. And the main reason for that is to get the most out of this camera, I believe you need these new lenses. And like the Canon 90D just came out, that looks like an amazing body. The 5D4, which this pretty much is, dropped in price a lot. So if you don't need the mirrorless capabilities, the 5D4 looks amazing. I think it's like $2,400-$2,500, so it's about the same, maybe a couple $100 more than the Canon EOS-R. So I would highly suggest just looking at that. That is it for now, guys. If you guys like this video, help me out, hit that subscribe button down below. If you got any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. And until next time, guys, go out and create.